Hey, it's Ramsey Dewey over here at the Animal Gym in Shanghai, China. Tian Yu and I are going to show you some X-Guard stuff. So, if we have a standing fighter versus downed fighter situation, I got my butterfly hooks in. I can do this a couple of ways. I can do it from an overhook or from an underhook. First, from an overhook, I'm going to grab the ankle here. I'm going to place one foot on his hip, one foot on his knee. So come around this side, check this out. Right, so this one right on the hip, this one right on the knee. It's very important to keep tension here. Keep this very tight, keep this very strong. Why? Because if it's loose here, push this foot away, push. Right, he's gonna push that off, he's gonna strip it, he's gonna pass your guard and punch you right in the mouth. So we don't want that, keep this tight, right? The X-Guard allows me to unbalance either leg, both legs, or either arm. So I can push him away, I can pull him toward me. I can grab this foot, push him toward it and make him fall, okay? Or maybe I'm reaching for this foot, but he steps away, right? And I can't reach it. So what do? Well, I still have a hold of this foot, so what am I going to do with it? How about stand up with it, push him away with these legs, get up, there we go, right? Now we have a sweep pretty much with every limb of the body, or all of them at once. If I get deep underneath them, or if I reach for the underhook, so I'm much, much deeper underneath him here, now I can lift his hips up, basically carry him up off the floor, and down he goes whenever I feel like it, right? It's like juggling somebody upside down. It's like using a marionette, pulling the strings, but from the floor instead of from above. I'm doing this from an underhook here. A lot of people ask, well, what if he kneels on you? Here, can you kneel on me? Can you put your weight here? Like kneel down, like this. Now, yeah, he can put his weight on you, but I can take it off simply by pushing him away, okay? I've also got access to these hands. Maybe I roll him this way a little, so his hands come down to the floor. I can grab one, and I can roll him onto the missing hand, end up in donkey mount here, or how about this one? I move back into X-Guard, I've got the underhook, and I roll him this way. Maybe he puts this hand on the floor, right? So I unbalance him this way, try and unbalance him without making him fall too much. And I get a hold of this one. This is good, because now I got this nice little roll right into knee mount, okay? So sometimes here, switch with me. Tian, pull up your X-Guard. Go ahead. Here, do X-Guard, right, and he unbalances me. Sometimes, actually a lot of times, people will try to stabilize by putting their hands on the floor. Grab this one, Judy, now. Okay, and now roll. Yeah, just make him do a shoulder roll. Here, do that again. So go to X-Guard, right, unbalance, right, and pull. And roll, okay? Here's another little fun trick. Right, I move into an X-Guard position. I've got this leg. I'm gonna lift it over my head. Now I'm behind him. I had a few simple options. One, just sit up here, sweep him down that way. Or two, this is a fun one. Lift this up, come over the top, get this position. But instead, I'm gonna reach up, grab his hips, push. And down he comes. Let's do that from another angle. So lift this up, over here, grab the hips, push, pull, right into back mount. Okay. Man, there are a million ways to sweep people in X-Guard. A million. Here, let's go from that underhook again. And I push, and I pull, and look at that. I got a straight ankle lock right there. Okay. One more time. Push, pull with the overhook, right into a straight ankle lock. Okay, or I can go into it this way. A lot of different ways to finish that. Okay. Entries into the X-Guard. And that's where a lot of people goof up. And one of the biggest issues is getting that underhook instead of the overhook. Overhook is pretty easy. Most people can do this. Right, it's just rotating 90 degrees to the side. I pull here, right? Put this here, grab very tight. And either way you do it, it's very important you hold very tight here. Why? Here, can you pull your leg out? Here, pull your leg out. Yeah. Because if it's loose, he'll pull it out. He's free, right? Same thing here. I want to grab my head and squeeze very tight. Can you pull the leg out? No, right? But if it's loose, pull it out. Yeah, now he's free. Right? You don't want that guy to get free. So a little secret, so you don't have to like do this little herky-jerky dance to get into this position for that underhook, is this. Do a crunch, like a little sit-up, and it makes you smaller, and you'll fit right in there. So just like this, just like doing crunches. Yeah. So again, I'm reaching. This arm comes under his foot this time because I want that underhook. Gives me a whole bunch of cool options that I don't have with the overhook, right? But it's like, oh, I'm too big, I won't fit. Just do a crunch. One more time, just do that little crunch, make yourself smaller, and magically you fit, right? A lot of people say that X-Guard works a lot better for small people than for big people. And I suppose at first it might seem that way, that a small person will have an easier time getting into some of these positions. But if you just understand how to move your body, if I'm laid out flat on the floor, I'm big. If I do a crunch, I'm a lot smaller and I fit into smaller spaces. So, you know, even a big, long, lanky dude like me can play X-Guard with a shorter guy like Tianyu here, right? So entries for X-Guard. Why do we even be there in the first place, right? I had this dude comment on my YouTube videos on the last one. He said, oh man, you won't be able to do any of that guard stuff on the ground because if somebody hits you, you're basically knocked out. Okay, if you're knocked out, the fight's over, obviously. Right? But there are a lot of reasons you might end up on your back. Maybe you do get clipped in the head and maybe you do fall down, right? And maybe the fight's not over, maybe it still continues. This does happen, happens a lot. I've been in fights like this. I've won fights like this, okay? But sometimes you get thrown on the floor or taken down or put on the floor by somebody who doesn't want to control and submit you, but rather strike you and TKO you, okay? And so he's standing over you. This is not uncommon in the sport of mixed martial arts. So there are many, many sweeps that I can do. One of the big dangers of the sweeps is extending my legs too far. If my legs are out here, control, pass the guard, do what you want, right? He has a lot of options. So I want to bring my legs very close to me. And X-Guard is great because it plays right into this guard strategy. My legs are very close. One is high, one is low, and the knees are over my body, right? And consequently, I'm now controlling his center of gravity because his center of gravity is right over mine. Right, so now I've got all of these great options, right? And he has very few. So X-Guard is a super dynamic position. There are a million techniques you can do from there, a million sweeps, a million submissions, a lot of cool stuff I'm not even touching on today. Otherwise, this would be the longest video in the history of YouTube Jiu-Jitsu tutorials. But if you're not familiar with it, look up everything you can about it because it's a valuable position. One other thing, come into my closed guard. Probably the position I use X-Guard in the most, come down here, is starting from the closed guard. So come down to the floor, right? And you might think that's not X-Guard. Well, yeah, there's a certain progression here. I'm going to go from closed guard to a spider guard to a butterfly guard to, you know, he's probably going to stand up at this point here. Stand, stand, stand. Right, otherwise he gets swept. So put your feet on the floor. Yeah, exactly. And once he puts those feet on the floor to balance, X-Guard. All right, let's do that again. So again, we'll go from closed guard, right, to a spider guard. I push into a butterfly guard. I try to sweep. He stands as a result. And now I move into X-Guard. That right there, that's the most common application of X-Guard that I use for MMA personally. Because again, not everybody wants to stand over you. Some people want to squish you in the guard. Right here, Chen, you want to try that? So pull up your close guard. He's never done this before, by the way, so let's see how it goes. All right, I'm right here trying to beat you up, right? And so you're gonna push into spider guard, heels on the hips, right? And you're gonna grab the arms. Now move to butterfly guard, right? So you're gonna push these under here, get your underhooks, try to sweep, and I'm gonna stand up. Now switch to X guard, right? Not bad for the first time ever, and sweep, right? So we can string the different guards together, the closed guards, the open guards. A lot of people will say, I've never seen spider guard in the UFC. That's ridiculous. I've never seen X guard in the UFC. I've never seen butterfly guard. You probably have, and you didn't recognize it because, you know, in mixed martial arts, it's much more fluid and transient. Like in a jiu-jitsu competition in the gi, you grab and you hold on, and these positions can last for a long time. And so we recognize them like still pictures. But in the sport of MMA, you know, it's much more streamlined, right? I'm here in the closed guard, we're fighting, he's trying to punch me, he's trying to pass the guard. I transition here. This right here, that's a form of spider guard. I know I'm not grabbing the sleeves and all this that you see in gi jiu-jitsu, but that's just a quick transition to a butterfly guard. I'm trying to sweep him, right? He's gonna put his feet up here, and I'm gonna switch over into my X guard, boom, right to the knee mount, or whatever sweep I can get in that position, okay? So, these positions exist. We just don't always recognize them because, again, they're fluid, they're fast, and we often dismiss them as, oh, that's a pretty neat scramble that happened, right? People throw out the word scramble to describe a bunch of techniques happening too fast to name, basically. Or when they see a bunch of stuff happening they don't recognize or don't have the vocabulary to discuss, they'll say, it's a scramble, right? So let's go over that scramble one last time. Okay, close guard, spider guard, butterfly guard, try to sweep him, he stands, X guard, boom, boom. Okay, I mean, that takes place in 2 seconds. We're going through how many positions? Close guard, spider guard, butterfly guard, X guard, a sweep, a transition to the top. 2 seconds and 7 things happen, right? So it's much easier to say it's a scramble than to name all of the fancy guards, if you will. Anyway, that's my intro to the X guard. Thank you for watching. Now get out there and train.
Do you like the gear I use in my training videos? Well, hey, get your own at xmartial.com. Don't forget to use my code Ramsey10 for 10% off all their great rash guards, spats, shorts, and martial arts training equipment. Again, that's xmartial.com, and that code is Ramsey10, good for 10% off everything on the website. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.